Hello, Mr. Steve Macdonald. It's been honored to meet with you face to face in Google Meet. I've been going through your profile for a couple of days, and I'm really stunned because of your work experiences and your expertise. So maybe I have lots of things to learn from you. So before starting our interview session, I would like to ask you about yourself. Please share your knowledge or your experience with me.
Okay, sure. Thank you. I'm very pleased to be talking with you. I don't know about my knowledge, but my experience is primarily in finance and investment management.
Yes.
I worked initially in the financial markets as a trader. Um, for about 9 years. I then moved into investment management. I became a senior portfolio manager for one of Australia's largest investment management companies. I then set up my own investment management company, which I ran for 9 years and sold out of in 2016. Since that time, I've been quite active in the startup space. I've started a number of ventures of my own, invested in a number of other people's ventures, and I've run workshops and given talks about entrepreneurship in 7 countries. So at the moment, I've got I think 3 different projects that I'm working on, new projects. Still trying to keep quite busy.
Okay. And lastly, I saw that you are going to write about some books, right? So,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
So, can you
so
tell me about your books?
yeah, sure. So, it's one of the new ventures is a publishing business,
Okay.
um, providing books that can be also published as apps and developed into courses, um, providing sort of training and um, skill development in primarily in soft skills.
Okay.
Um, and with a primary intended market of young adults.
Okay, sir. And that's impressive, sir. Okay, so my first question to you that how important teamwork and communication being to your success?
Um, Teamwork and communication have been very important to me. I, I I distinguish between 2 types of um, teamwork and communication. One is um, the sense of teamwork and communication that you have with clients, and the other is the sense of teamwork and communication that you have internally with your actual team members, your formal team. Um, because I believe that if clients believe that you form a team with them, then um, that wins their trust. They feel like you're on their side. Um, you're not sort of trying just to you don't your sole objective isn't to sell them something. Your objective is to meet a common goal. So that sort of communication of the sense of teamwork externally, I think, is really valuable. Internally, I'm a big believer in the saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Um, I think that's really important to understand when you're developing a business. Is that um, you go, you need to as a team um, have common objectives about not just where you're headed, and not just how you're going to get there, but at what pace you're going to travel. And I think that that's something that needs to be clearly communicated as a team. Otherwise, you've got different agendas, different priorities, and it can lead to frustrations and conflict.
Okay, sir. That's really impressive, sir. And my second question to you, what are other skills that are important when working in a team? Like anything like problem solving, decision making, conflict resolution?
Yes, all of all of those things. Um, I, I I have a view about teams and decision making that may not be a popular view, but um, I believe that businesses aren't democracies. Um, they need an ultimate decision maker. So while it's important to get a diverse set of views and to consider those views and um, where appropriate, sort of learn from those views, it, it's still necessary to have a decision maker. You
Okay.
can't run a business um, like it's a committee. You can't run it like it's a democracy where everyone gets equal say and has a vote on decisions. Um, so as long as people have confidence that their opinion is going to be listened to and considered, um, then hopefully they're going to be um, willing and keen to put forward their opinion. But at the end of the day, it needs a decision maker to make decisions.
Okay, sir. So, okay, I'm going for my next question. What do you wish you knew earlier in your career about teamwork and communication?
Um, I wish I knew earlier that not everyone wants what you want. Um, I wish I knew earlier that you do go as slowly as your slowest team member.
Okay.
And because of that, I think you need to be very, very selective in building a team. If it's a venture where you can't work on your own and you do need a team, then your team has to be aligned, not just in, like I was sort of mentioning before, that you have to be aligned on everything. You have to be aligned on where you're headed, how are you going to get there, and at what speed. Um, because if any of those three things you fundamentally disagree on, um, it's very, very difficult and painful to resolve those things halfway along the journey. You need to be at the outset in agreement on all three aspects of that.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And my next question is, how important is trust in your work? Can you give me an example?
Yes. Trust, again, I kind of distinguish between the trust, external trust and internal trust. I think they're two quite different things. Um, having the trust of clients has been very important in my career. Um, as an investment manager, I needed to have the trust of people who were entrusting me with their money. They trusted that I would make intelligent decisions about how to invest that money. They knew that every decision wouldn't be right, but they needed to trust that I was making the decisions carefully and confidently, and that I had the expertise to be right to a at a frequency that was going to see them do well. Um, and so that establishment of trust is has been for me very, very important in terms of any success that I have had. Um, Trust, as I said, sort of trust, internal trust, I think, is a different matter, but that external trust, I think, is really important.
Okay, sir. Okay. My next question is, how do you build trust and how do you recover it if it gets lost? So it's kind of related with the previous one.
Yeah. You build trust by being authentic, being genuine, and by
Yes.
telling the truth. Um, People, I think we live in an age where people are very, very distrustful. There's not many people who believe very many things anymore. And
Yes.
it sort of shows up in politics. It shows up in sort of people losing faith in religion, people sort of losing faith in advertising. Um, people People all around the world are losing their trust in anything. Um, and the way I think to win trust is, as I said, to be genuine and to be honest. And
Yes.
people identify that because of the sort of, it stands out amongst sort of all of the fake stuff that's out there. And people sort of, I think, really welcome that and relate to it, and I think you, through that, you win people's trust. Um, in terms of sort of the internal trust, and I kind of think that internally you should have very, very limited trust in anyone. Um, I think you should only expect that people are um, only going to be true to the things that they value, um, and that their own values are ultimately going to determine their behavior far more than um, having trust that they've bought into what you want them to do. Um, it's if we sort of think about, I have trust, if I'm sort of flying from Bangladesh to Boston,
Yeah.
I'll have faith that the plane has been properly maintained and the pilot is capable and isn't feeling suicidal and all of those things, that
Yes.
by getting on board the plane, I'll arrive safely. That's the trust as someone external, as a customer. Um, I sort of will have that level of trust
Yes,
because
sir.
I have no more information to be able to make any better assessment. But internally, people do have more information. So the co-pilot, for example, knows much more about the capability of the pilot and knows about his mood, if he's sort of, looking desperate or, angry or whatever.
Yeah.
He knows much more. So he will have a different perspective on how much trust to put in the person sitting beside him, that the passenger sort of sitting down the back doesn't get to have. Um, and I think that with that sort of insight and that sort of information about people within an organization, even a large organization or a small one, um, your trust needs to be very limited and validated sort of at every possible point.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And my last question to you: what is one habit you would recommend that a new Masters in Finance graduate student develop about teamwork and communication? So that's for me actually. So I'm doing Masters in Finance. So what would you recommend me?
So, the first thing I would suggest is communicate to everyone. Um, Everyone that you meet is a potential person that you can collaborate with, find support from, give support to, learn from, help. Um, you can benefit from having conversations with just about anyone. So communicate a lot and with as many people as possible. Um, Secondly, if you're going to build a team, you need to come down to the detail, the nuts and bolts about how things are going to happen in order to get agreement. If you sort of have, if you're sort of starting a business with the objective of sort of becoming a watchmaker, um, you might have agreement that you're going to sell a particular style of watch. Your market is a particular group of people. Someone will be responsible for design, someone else for manufacturing, someone for sales, someone for finance, etc. And you think you've sort of got agreement, but you really don't have much agreement because you haven't decided about how you're going to work together, how are conflicts going to be resolved, how are disputes going to be fixed, how much time are you going to all commit to working, what will be sort of the matter of dealing with sort of major setbacks and disappointments. How are you going to celebrate your wins? Those sorts of things need to be agreed and communicated uh, in order to have sort of true alignment and to be a cohesive team.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, it was really, I'm really honored to having conversation and getting the chance to learn from you. I mean, thank you very much. I cannot pay the debt actually.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, sir.